time for your Omni X-Men. Welcome back Tuesdays. This is the Omni X-Men show. I am joined as always by Justin from KnowGood Comics.
What's up, John?
Hashtag still backstage, but this is the backstage party here.
Oh man, did you and hello everybody. Welcome to, it's good to see everybody on this fine Tuesday evening. What I was going to mention was, John, when you get a chance, if you haven't already, go check out You Promised Me Comics 1K giveaway celebration that they had last night.
So I jumped in late after my comic boys ended last night, and they replayed your
they did?
video. It was hilarious.
That's
very
great. That's
funny.
great. Glad to hear.
Yeah, so if you missed it, Jeremy and Caroline had their 1,000 subscriber party last night over on You Promised Me Comics. It was a great bash. Lots of great community members jumping in and saying, hey. Justin was too busy, but he was watching a great football game apparently. I actually had another show, and then I jumped in and was at least in the chat congratulating them. But yeah, they played some great clips. Very, very funny.
You were backstage though the entire time.
I was backstage always. That's my place. Speaking of backstage, we got the one and only Chett Eye Knight himself.
What up, Chet?
Everything's good, guys. I want to applaud Justin for tuning into one of the greatest football games he ever saw on Monday night. Good job, Justin.
So entertaining.
You made my heart proud. And in the back of my head, I'm saying other things, but I love you, man.
It was so great. I missed the entire thing. Look
anyway. What's going on, Big John?
If you guys don't know the Chett Eye Knight, he is the X-Men boss. Okay, this guy, he's getting to the point where he's basically got the entire Claremont collection in incredibly ultra high grade with signatures from some of the biggest names in X-Men history. You're talking Stan Lee, Chris Claremont, and more. You are our guru around here, man.
I appreciate that.
We are so lucky to have you come and join us as often as you do. So
I'm lucky to have you guys invite me every time. It's fun to be able to flex with this stuff. You know it.
We got to at least balance out the Brandon Cyclops hate with some people that get it. You know,
that's right.
Brandon.
Speaking of Brandon, he's in the chat. What are you doing, my guy?
Station.
And Brandon has been dropping some great interviews. There's some really big names on the horizon as well from this guy. So if you are not following Brandon, there he is. You got to check out the Comics Kings. We throw a little shade just because we love him and because he throws shade at Cyclops. So there you go.
And plus, I get to see him in a couple of weeks. So I'll get to show him how much I love him with his,
There you go. Teach him some respect for Cyclops while you're there.
Give him a Hertz donut.
I'll give him a hug from each of you guys. Crack a rib.
We got Just Rican, my man Rod. He took a night off from doing Lame or Framed, and he's joining us here in the chat. I know he appreciates some good X-Men talk, so I appreciate you making the time, my man.
Heck yeah.
We got Jennifer from Comics Will Break Your Heart. Hope you're doing well, Jen.
Dr. J.
Lasso says he's mad. He wanted a Doctor Strange Funko, but he bought the Wong one. Yes, Chet is the man. Diana Ross is the diva. Justin is the influencer, and John is the daddy. I mean, I could use a cool nickname. I'm saying. Hello, Jackson Roy Kirk. What is going on? It must be Tuesday when those dad jokes are flowing.
Jackson Roy.
Sure. We got Old Wolf 65, my man. He's drinking a little whiskey tonight. I did not pour mine beforehand, but I will have something after. I'm not going to stop the show for that. Not worth it. Let's see who else we got here in the chat. Everybody's saying hi. Sheila Thompson, a friend I met through Sam's Tangled Web, and she's been popping into a bunch of chats, dropping the green hearts, reminding us all of the community member that passed this last few weeks. And Sheila, it is just so great to see you dropping comments and saying hi in the chat. So thank you for coming by. You're awesome.
Very cool. Very cool.
I got my Iron Man shirt on. Yeah, Tony, got my Iron Man. It's one of my most comfortable shirts, so I tend to wear it a lot. I did not wear my Chode shirt. No, not tonight.
Chode.
Super Russ 9000. Good to see you, man. Yeah, Justin he was backstage. Now he's here. Sadly, he's on the show. Let's see who else. We got JP Budget Collecting. He says, So is it page 3 or 4 on this issue when Cyclops runs out of snacks and decides not to run away?
He ran out last issue for more than just snacks.
He does not stay away long from that mansion, we'll just say. But that was some pretty sweet living when you are at least not being attacked by giant purple robots. Empire Comics, what's going on? Thank you for coming and hanging out.
What's up, Imp?
Let's see here. Anybody else? Everybody else is just saying hey to everybody.
See Rob Boswell.
Boswell. There it is. My guy, what's going on, Rob?
Hey, Rob.
What's that emoji? Is that a dog or a horse? I can't tell what's going on there. I'll say dog. It's a dog.
It's a dog.
That's what you said.
There's those green hearts for Sam. Thank you for much. Sheena, what is going on?
Sheena.
So appreciate you coming by. I'm not wearing the McSquirter shirt yet. It has not come in yet. It's back ordered. Back ordered the McSquirter shirt. It's popular. It's a popular shirt. All right. So thank you all for coming. We are here for Omni X-Men. We're going to be talking about a special issue tonight, one I had never read before this last week. But before we dive into that, the reminder that we are doing, as always, a big giveaway to wrap up this season of Omni X-Men. Lots of great books, slabs, giveaway boxes, original art pieces that Justin commissioned. The link to Nickolas's Instagram is in the description down below. Nickolas, who is a community artist, does incredible work, did this storm piece you can find on my Instagram. Justin has an amazing piece of art commissioned for this show as a giveaway.
Did you see it, Chett?
It's beautiful.
Amazing, bro.
Yeah,
I've looked at it going, God, I hope I can win. I hope my time on the show doesn't make me. It's not. I'll just have to take a screenshot and get it somewhere.
Hey, you already got you got a couple tickets in here, and as we always say, it only takes one ticket to win the big one. So
that's cool.
So if you stick around at the end and answer the trivia or make us laugh with a great comment in the chat, you get a chance to be entered to then win on the raffle when we pull those names, and lots of great things. So stick around to the end and hang with us because we'll have some great trivia for you.
I'll also be doing a giveaway with these guys also
nice.
During this. So,
sweet.
And I will be letting go of a signed book for these guys.
Oh, Chett, you're the man.
How do I get in on this?
Yeah, how do I get? Yeah, how do we? Can we win that?
I'll get you a Redskins shirt for.
So this is the first time on this show up to now, I think. No, I hadn't read the Akon Annual 3, but this is the second time that I've read an issue for the very first time for this show. It was very exciting to experience this again, to sort of transport back in time.
Right.
Let's jump in with Justin. What were your first thoughts on reading King Size Annual X-Men number?
So, John, can I throw a curveball here and change up the order in which we break this down and go last of the three of us?
Let's do it. So then
I am very curious to hear your thoughts, and I have
know Chett. I know Chett had read this before.
Oh,
I
yeah.
know he didn't miss if Claremont even breathed on a book in the 70s, 80s, or 90s, that guy knew about it.
All over it.
So you want me to go first?
Yeah, you tell us your thoughts. If you can remember how you felt first time or this time reading it. Okay,
the first time I read this book, I didn't know some of the characters on the inside because we're all getting introduced to these characters in here. It gives us a little bit of a backstory, another thing we knew nothing about. Gives us a lot of background and history on where they end up because of a certain visitor that comes to the rescue to help them out. I thought it was a great book. And I'll tell you, I didn't know until now that this was drawn by, McLeod and Romita. I didn't really know that. I assumed Byrne. But then when I started reading it again earlier in the week, I said, oh, wow. So there's something I just didn't know. I love the story. I love the background. I love how they tied certain things in Kurt's life into, the mystic side. And it's just very interesting. And the one thing that got me a lot in terms of the art was the gift itself. I remember as a kid when I first bought this book, I was drawing that particular piece,
that crystal
sculpture.
And,
I mean, I love it. And overall on a grand scale, I gave this book a good 9.4.
9.4.
Yeah.
And you know what? I think my score is going to be right in that range. I really enjoyed it. It is king size for a reason. This is a packed book. It's 3 parts, 3 chapters. I loved the use of the guest star. This is how you use a cameo appearance in a comic. Like Doctor Strange is perfect in this. I love that, like you're saying, all that backstory for Nightcrawler, a character that had really kind of been forced to the side so that, Wolverine, Cyclops, Jean Grey got their star moments. Yep. He gets his moment here. And I thought that was kind of cool. Artwork, like you're saying, you would not know that this wasn't just another issue in that run. The fact that people like Ramita would work. I mean, I'm a Ramita senior. Ramita's freaking boss. The Ramita's underappreciated in my opinion compared to obviously the other artists like Byrne or McFarlane or whatever in different eras. So yeah, very exciting. I think I'm going to end up going 9-2 just for a couple issues that we'll get into as we go along. Okay. But yeah, I thought this was very well done. And again, hey, anything that throws back to great literature, Dante's Inferno.
Yes.
Let's do it. Let's do it.
And so we got the 10 levels of hell.
So I have to ask you guys, have you read Dante's Inferno before?
In high school.
Okay.
I never have.
Chet, you never have. Chet, do you know what it generally is about?
I think after years of hearing about it and everything, it's more or less like the passageway to hell and
you mentioned like the different levels,
and
all that stuff. Yeah. So going into this, I've heard of Dante's Inferno. I've never read it, and I never knew anything about it. What's up, K Titus? Never knew anything about it. Had no idea that it had to do with hell in any sort of the way. Never looked into it. So reading this, like I know it hints at in the beginning, especially like he recaps and says, "Oh, like we're in front of this gate, and this is like we have to follow the steps of what was told back in this writing and all this stuff from the early 14th century, whatever it is." I kind of glazed over that. And so the entire issue, I was reading this and I felt like how Wolverine was. Like Wolverine was lost like the entire time. And Wolverine was just like, I'll solve it, bub. Just like, let me just take out whatever. And he just was like, yeah, like, and all these like tentacles were coming out randomly and all these things. And I just remember thinking like, I kept asking myself like, why are we going in this direction? What is this about? Like, why is it like, why are these levels of hell? Like, this is weird. Like, I never really I just didn't get any of it. And then and I know I'm jumping ahead, but even like, some of the ending and seeing Satan as it is, and the ice in the bat and and I will go into detail, but like, why are they frozen? Why does this happen with the ice and all this stuff? None of it connected with me. And I just thought it was like a so read. It was like, eh. So what I did was, John, when you shared earlier today, you posted on Instagram, you said, your special night, talking about this book. Clearly that signaled to me that you really appreciated aspects of this book and that this wasn't something that you were going to bash on or anything like that. Or maybe you have some things, but
give me time.
Yeah. So I was like, okay, so you mentioned Dante's Inferno again, like in your post. And I'm like, well, let me just like look into this a little bit more. So I literally watched like a 10-minute video on Dante's Inferno of just the general basics, without too many. So, yeah, basically. And as they say everything, so much more made sense. So much more was like, wow, they like the Claremont really did try to copy or emulate. Yeah, like a lot of the different ways that things were told. So I thought it was a really clever. Now going back and I actually started to reread some of it. I appreciated it a lot more. And so much more that I actually even went and there was a suggestion of, reading Doctor Strange issue 16 because he's like, is this like that other time in hell? So I just recently posted it, but yeah, I was reading that. I really enjoyed that too, which by the way, if you haven't read, have you guys read that issue?
I used to collect Doctor Strange. I may or may not have read it, so I'm going to go back and check it later.
So after reading and looking at that issue just now, it's like very fresh in my mind. It is, the art in that is 10 times better than in this issue. And I'm not to knock this issue. Wow. Not to knock this issue, but the art is Gene Colan. Gene's the man.
Gene Colan is amazing.
Yeah. So I was blown away by it. I do recommend checking it out. I've never read Doctor Strange before.
Issue 16?
16.
Yeah.
But it is a whole different take on hell. And it's really cool of how he has to solve things. Like it's really a good, nice. I thought it was a good story. Anyways, not to get off track, but to give you guys an idea, that was to me, I was like completely, I kind of didn't like the issue at first, but now that I've into it again, I was telling Lindsay, my girlfriend, I was like, I actually kind of like the issue now. Like
So then,
I
what
can
would your
appreciate
grade?
certain
What would your
things. You had a
final grade
basis.
be?
So I think a 9.0 or a 9.2 is where I would kind of put this, but I definitely was falling more in the 7.5 range when I was first reading this. Not so much the art, like I respect the art, I like the art. I just felt so lost and was wondering why this and who made this up. Like it was, to me, it was just like, did Claremont just like randomly make this up? Like why hell and why these levels and why ice at the end and all this other stuff, but not realizing that it was based on emulating this bigger story, which was I have an appreciation for now. So anyways, that's my little rant that I just wanted to share with you guys, as this was a roller coaster for me.
I think I read it in high school and I understood the basics, but then if you watch a movie like Seven, where they reference Dante's Inferno a ton, they talk a lot about sort of what is motivating this horrible killer in Seven, and Dante's Inferno is utilized. Dante's writing is something that they utilize there as well. And this is definitely an example of a writer being inspired by another writer and utilizing that in some way. So for sure, Look,
I've never seen Seven, so
the Divine Comedy
just brought up more.
Inferno, Purgatory, and Paradise. Yep.
And the breakdown that I listened to was only about Inferno, but it did touch on that there's other two. I think the YouTuber was like, next week I'll be breaking down the next one or something like that.
So there you go.
The next level of hell next week.
Well, let's dive into this issue and see what we think on this one overall. So Chett, what is your thoughts on this cover we got here?
After years of seeing this book, there's a lot of different things that actually appear in the book, and obviously this is one particular page, and it kicks off the story, so to speak.
Right.
If you look at the demon in the background, we actually saw the full face, and it's quite the resemblance of the face we actually see. But other than that, this particular cover, I like the fact that it gives us literally a scenario in the book, and there's no way around it. So it's pretty telling that something's going on and Professor's powerless and everybody's getting dragged into wherever they may be going. So you got to assume it's hell based on the sentence on the bottom in the caption.
Right.
So I love the cover. I think it's to the point and tells us exactly what we're going to get. There's demons and there's kidnap.
Right. What about you, Justin?
Yeah, very accurate. When I first looking at this, I definitely ignored like the play on words with the Inferno, Nightcrawlers Inferno, all that stuff. But I remember thinking like I thought like Medusa was in this. I thought like those were like the snakes, the hair, of Medusa. So I was like, where does this go? Yeah, I was like, where does this go? It's cool though, and like you mentioned, Chett, I'm glad. It definitely takes a piece right out of the panels from inside, which I always appreciate. And I definitely think this can stand out in a way, especially with the colors and stuff like that. So yeah, I like the cover.
Yeah, I mean, it's definitely a busy cover where it's easy to lose. Like a few times I looked at it, I was like, wait, I thought Wolverine was on. Oh yeah, there he is. Like I lose track of certain things. Colossus and Doctor Strange obviously pop a lot more with the blue and the silver.
Mm-hmm.
I do love the negative space with that giant black in background and kind of how they use that.
Comment on that and say, I think I could have done without all that blackness in the background.
It's a lot, but it does help the title pop and the monster and Strange and Colossus pop a little bit.
And I can also say that you can tell that's a Bob McLeod Colossus.
Yeah, he is awkwardly posed there. The knees and it's basically like a weird underbutt kind of shot. I don't know what's going on there. So something to worry about. Let's get into the issue here. So right off the bat, we're starting off with Nightcrawlers Inferno. It's his birthday. He's surprised by the birthday. And I want to just highlight one thing here. I even had to blow this picture up so you can really see that Wolverine, yes, gave a picture of himself as a present
yes, I'm glad
to
you
Nightcrawler.
Yep.
That's that picture in the far corner on the other side for me is Nightcrawler happily unwrapping a picture of Wolverine that Wolverine gifted to him.
Yeah,
nobody says anything about it. This never comes up again.
A little foreshadowing of what I'm sending you, John. So I
just want people to be aware of this layer.
Christmas is coming, John. Christmas is coming.
I can hope. What's up, Perry? How's it going, man?
Pickle Perry.
Perry.
Yeah. So that's happening. That's the big takeaway I got from the birthday sequence. Anybody else have stuff they want to mention?
So when I saw this, that definitely intrigued me to like want to look even deeper to see if there was anything else in the background with those gifts, but there really wasn't. It was really
if you skim this issue, it is totally easy to miss that.
Yeah,
the picture I blew up is down in the bottom corner, and you might not even notice it. But it's like,
anybody got anything to say about that Brontosaurus leg Wolverine's eating?
I mean, it's also like white.
It's not cooked.
Yeah, it's a white piece of meat that he's basically gnawing on there. So many questions.
Yeah.
What is Kitty actually drinking?
I don't know. She's 13 and a half apparently, so hopefully nothing alcoholic. But it's a martini or a champagne glass, so it's
with water. Has some water in it.
Right. So yeah, something to think about if you're wondering about what gifts to give. Christmas is coming. A picture of yourself or Wolverine apparently is an option. So something to think about.
Yep.
So then we have the crystal sculpture that you mentioned, Chett, as being like the big gift, and he's looking at it, trying to figure out what it is.
To this day, I'm still blown away by this thing.
It's beautiful, and then it explodes right into his face.
If you look at the panel next to it, where he's actually got his hand in the box, and look at the face of the crystal.
Yeah,
I mean, that's perfect. I love that thing, and as a matter of fact, it would be nice to have something like that in crystal, custom made. You're giving me ideas. I'm gonna start doing a hunt because I'd love to own that.
It does seem like he might be turning 21. I don't know that they specifically state the age at this point.
I thought they did. By the way, when I read this digitally first, and the first time reading this through, swiping from the middle panel of him like reaching into the box to the statue, all you saw was him and then the statue. And I at first my brain did not process it was a statue. I thought he went from like this to this, like he like moved.
He was frozen.
Yeah, I was like, whoa, like what? Did someone turn him into ice? I didn't know. And then I saw his hand. I'm like, oh, okay. Like let me break this down a little more.
I do think that these are a little jarring. The frame of him reaching in, and then all of a sudden he's holding it, and then all of a sudden it's exploding, bam, bam, bam,
panel to panel. It does.
It's
jump.
A little bit jarring. It's a bit too much.
Yeah.
That panel on where he's falling is like frightening. It's like his face is shoved up in black smoke, and he's just free falling to his face.
And I don't have a problem with the art in any one of them. It's just the combination doesn't flow very. It's choppy.
Agreed. Agreed. Even the coloring, if you really look back, it is very different. So it
can be hard to follow what's going on here. But yeah, so the statue apparently explodes in the face.
Yeah,
he just goes down. They rush him to the med lab to figure out what's going on, and this is where the writing fails me, because it's like he's dead. And they're like, but he's not dead. He's still alive. Like, I really don't feel like Xavier.
They gave up way too quick.
I'm a big Arrested Development fan, and this reminds me of the doctor in Arrested Development, who's always like, he comes out and he's like, we've lost him. And then they're like, oh my God. He's like, no, we can't find him. We don't know where he went. Like, we don't know. It's like, why don't you just say it the right way?
Right. I understand what you're saying, John, but look at it this way. I mean, they get through the whole examination of him physically, and they come back out. But Professor X is, he's a little smarter than that. He's not just, checking out what's on the physical plane. He's gonna investigate all parts, and then he calls his friend. So then, we get to the bottom of it. So, I know the shill in me, has to go with this storyline and say it makes sense. I don't want to offset.
I just think but I do. I agree though with John that I think it could have been said a little different, because the way they say the words like he's dead, he's gone, like he's gone, period. Like it's not like we're not sure yet. They don't like soften the blow. They're just like,
I would have loved a little like, we're not sure what's wrong with him, but he's not responding. He doesn't seem to be there. I can't pick up any brain waves.
I thought it was a little too direct.
Would have been worse. He's breathing, right? He's not like actually dead, right? The body is still there. It's still breathing. His heart is beating, right?
Yeah.
No, there's nothing. Am I wrong? Hold on.
For me, as I feel like the writer just couldn't decide here. It was like, well, he's dead, but he's not.
His essential life force is no more. So they're saying the mind, the body, there's no response. So to them, on the human level, I guess he's dead. But
Yeah.
you know,
But I would still describe it as it's not looking good, gang. Like
Yeah,
I wouldn't just
right?
straight say it's done. Like if you have a plan to get Doctor Strange, then hold off and say hang tight. You know, like nothing's 100% yet.
I don't
I'm
want
gonna
to
try some
drag
other
you
Again,
guys
things.
into
it
frenzy
felt
over
like
nothing.
it felt like the Doctor in Arrested Development comes out. And he's gone.
Yeah,
Oh my God, really? No, he's gone. He ran away.
I gotta watch that show. I've never watched that
Come
show, but I
on.
hear it's good.
Oh my God. It's the same doctor every time. And they're always like, you're the worst doctor. What is wrong with you?
Could you imagine if every time Batman disappeared on Commissioner Gordon, we thought we would think he's dead?
Right? Exactly. So everybody very upset. Doorbell rings. Stranger. Yes, actually, the Doctor Strange himself.
I see what you said there.
He rolls in his trench coat, which quickly transforms into his usual outfit. My favorite part of the Doctor Strange outfit is the fact that the shoes and pants are one unit. He wears a onesie, people. He wears a onesie. Underneath all that stuff, he's wearing jammies.
You want to make me, John? You're gonna laugh because when I was reading this, like I think it was day before yesterday, and I saw that and I was like, wait a minute. I said to myself, he's really wearing a onesie, and now that you're bringing it up, I'm like,
it's
okay,
footy jammies.
we're here, brother.
If you can see the bottom of his feet, it has that little like padding that you can, so you don't slide on hardwood floors.
I've corrupted you with the whole Leland thing.
Leland.
Thank you for the $6 Myanmar super chat. Thank you. I appreciated it. I'm wearing the Iron. You know my Iron Man. I got my Iron Man.
Nice.
Iron Man. Yeah. So Colossus is not yet perving. Perving happens later. Give it time. Give it time. She's 13 and a half, but he'll find her when she's 14. Any thoughts here on Doctor Strange? He's coming in. He's running his scans of Nightcrawler.
I mean, I was just excited to see him. I didn't understand why they had to do the whole change of clothes thing at first, or why they had to show that.
There's a lot of extra panels that seem superfluous, and then other times when you want 2 or 3 extras, right? It's
that's true.
It's that pacing thing a little bit.
Yeah.
I gotta admit that, reading this, I loved all the descriptive analysis of what he was doing, and picking up all the mystic forces, and I liked all the elaboration on this particular part.
Again, it's a perfect use of a guest star for me, because it's like, of course Xavier would call him. Of course he would be able to be the one, be as a doctor and as a sorcerer. He's the guy, right? He's the perfect guy.
Yep.
And while he's doing his scan, apparently he discovers this monster, this woman, this powerful sorceress who seems to be behind this whole thing. And she unleashes a strange monster with lots of tentacles.
Herpes.
Well, what's her name again? I know it has her name somewhere, right?
Margali.
Margali. Okay.
Yep.
I like the name. It's a cool name.
And so yeah, her tentacle beasts just attack, and everybody's like, get Xavier out of here. And so Xavier, Kitty, and Storm race off, and everybody else gets caught in a tentacle and pulled into the void. Wolverine, by the way, with that yellow face popping the claws, really cool.
Yeah.
Yep. I like the panels overall. The action that's going on here.
Panel where they're showing her with all the serpents. I kind of think that's cool.
Yeah, it's like dark and beautiful in a way. Yeah.
Yeah, I know gore. I know that there was a time when an 18-year-old high school student dating a junior high student was not frowned upon, but that's shocking in its own right. The fact that there was ever that time.
17-year-old Priscilla Presley or something like that.
There it is. Yeah, any thoughts here? Anything we want to mention, or should we just keep rolling here? It's a king size issue.
No, we can keep it going.
So yes, Storm saves Xavier and Kitty, only to be sucked back in, caught with her own tentacle, and dragged away. Xavier tries to hold on. She feels herself being torn in half, and then poof, she's gone. Kitty runs to look through the wall. Xavier's like, what are you doing? You're only 13. She's like, dude, you don't understand my powers at all. She sees everybody is gone, and that's kind of the end of the first part here.
Yeah. Good thing she didn't listen to him.
What's going to happen?
Right.
She is basically invulnerable, right?
Yeah.
Like, what's going to happen? She's oh, the tentacle can't get me. Oh no. I mean, let's just be honest. So let's jump to the Underworld.
It's a great one.
Second. I even had to cover that. Yeah, eat double hockey sticks there. But
Love it.
so yeah, our characters wake up at the gates of Hades here. In, as we mentioned, Dante's Inferno, and there's lots of references to Dante. His last name is Alighieri, right? So like there's references to Alighieri, and a lot of references to these levels of the underworld as our characters sort of find themselves here on the precipice.
I think it's great that when they get to hell, the first thing you see is was this a memo?
Yeah.
Here you are, you're in hell, abandon every hope ye who enter. And that's basically it. You got the memo. Nobody could miss that.
So I wonder
at that point you're on your own, right?
I wonder if that was that part. Like, I'm curious if that was mentioned in the actual book of right. Yep. Okay, so that's what that's
going to make me go get this book and start reading.
It is indeed. Yep. Abandon.
I am curious about the book
that enter here. Yes.
Yeah, the line we've all heard before.
Yeah.
So I'm pretty sure that's a direct quote from the Gates of Hell from Dante's Inferno.
I like that it's like a giant mouth too.
Yes.
Yeah.
The art on that splash page, so good.
Yeah.
So they go in.
yeah. This is where we kind of first get the understanding, that how much it ties into Dante's Inferno.
There's no way to go back. You have to go forward to go back. Very Wonka-esque. And so they dive through the gates only to find the I think he's the Greek god of the underworld, Charon. Which is one of the moons of Pluto, I believe.
Yes,
it's
Pluto.
Supposed to be
they said that
the frozen underworld.
Okay. Yep.
Did he mention that?
They mentioned that in the YouTube video.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, Pluto.
There you go. So this reminded me of Inception, and so I had to include like the buildings at the edge of the world falling apart. It totally reminds me of that.
Totally. So this is where I was referencing that I felt like Wolverine, because Wolverine in that first panel, he's just like, give me a break. You call this a river? It stinks like a sewer. Like, he's just so literal and just like, this is not a river. Like I was just so like what's going on here? Like that's how I felt when I was first reading this.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Understandably. I mean,
yeah.
And they do rush the layers, of the underworld. They don't have time to go through every single layer here.
Right.
So they hit on the big ones and kind of run through.
Yeah, they elaborate on every one though, which is pretty decent.
Yeah, they give you some exposition on everything.
Yeah.
Crossing the river to the other side, they come to the lair of the I guess the devil, and he's sitting there in his sort of lavish throne and doing his thing here. Again, the purple and pink coming through big time.
True.
Look at that smile.
Yeah, I didn't know. Yeah, I didn't know how he kind of reminded me of like James Bond meets Joker type of guy, like kind of really kooky, really like off his rocker, and very creepy.
The movie, Devil's Advocate. That's what he reminded me of a little bit.
Little Al Pacino.
Yeah.
Look at that evil smile he's got.
That's
He's
good.
got the thing going on.
Oh yeah.
Sharp. He's got the sharp nails too, the claws.
Yep.
There's a bunch of drawings in this book too, where somebody's head gets tilted really far to the side. Nightcrawler does it a few times. If you look at the middle bottom picture of the devil, he's kind of got his head like hey, how you doing?
Scoping him out, like, hey, what a specimen you are.
Yeah.
And he's basically laying down the rules, right? That like he has taken Nightcrawler as his own, and that they are now having to battle their way through if they want to collect his soul and take it back. They don't pay the boatman. They do not. That's a great point. But we're gonna ignore that. He's doing his best, Wingard.
Don't pay the ferryman. Remember that song?
We're not worried about costumes here. No, this is how they look in the underworld.
Come on, Tony. We're in heck right now.
Right.
Exactly. Gore Vidal saying Satan wasn't as charming or attractive in the Inferno. Yeah, that was. They showed some like imagery in that YouTube video too. It was very different, for sure. Yeah.
So while they're all talking, he grabs with a tentacle, grabs Nightcrawler and just chucks him further into his domain. And Storm is like, why are you guys watching this happen? Let's go get him. She flies off and basically gets caught in whatever is pulling him along, and it has to kind of just fight weather and the habitat that they're stuck in.
Storm was stuck in a storm, John. Storm was stuck.
Yes. Way to put it.
Yeah. This was another thing that kind of like bothered me in a way where I just felt like, man, literally anything can happen. So like, what the heck, like you have these random tentacles that are just grabbing team members and chucking them like and if Satan's all this powerful being, then he can't just do that forever. And he's just going to keep throwing like team everywhere. Like, and then where's the book go? I don't know. Like I was so like wrapped in like literalness there. I'm just like, that's like silly almost,
I kind of felt like it was specific to Nightcrawler that the tentacle grabbed him. They want him, and they're going to get him to whatever level away from the other beings.
True.
So I felt like it was more of a separation attempt by whatever version of hell we're in.
True.
So,
yeah, I do feel like this is a section where we're getting a lot of extra panels. In fact, so many that we got a whole other page here for her being stuck in the hurricane or the twister. And now there's harpies and there's people getting stabbed and yeah, it's like, wow, this is really an elaborate bit to just kind of show that Storm and Nightcrawler getting chucked across.
That's where I just thought this was also random. Like where is this going? Like these harpies are in here now. Like where did they come from? And where did the tentacle go that was just there before?
Yeah.
Well, if we go back a little bit, it says this is the second circle of hell.
Yes.
And that's where we are right now. So, at least they're giving us some action on each level that they scoped out.
Some of that information. Yeah.
Right.
Yeah. I don't think it was much of a showcase for Nightcrawler and Storm. I think it was more of a, let's show them the trouble that's waiting in hell for them while they're waiting for their teammates.
Well, I think they also, for whatever reason, were removing Storm from the story. And it was really going to focus more on Colossus and Wolverine and Doctor Strange,
Right. Okay.
Which brings us to those guys, because they're all kind of like, hey, what's going on? And then somehow, because of what Storm did, Nightcrawler could teleport back, and now Storm is the one stuck in hell that they've got to rescue. I mean, elaborate, but whatever. One trend I wanted to highlight that's going on art-wise here is the fact that continually, what I thought was kind of fun, was people's feet sticking out of the frame. So if you look at the center top, you can see Nightcrawler's toes and Colossus's boot sticking out of the frame. I really dug that. And it happens repeatedly all the way through this issue in a kind of fun way. People's feet kind of like pop out.
Good catch. Yeah. That is cool.
What's up, Donnie? Thanks for coming, brother.
Yo.
62 Lefty Blues.
I like Wolverine. I love that panel with Wolverine. His face kind of crooked. Yeah, it's just like, it's all him right there, man.
Yeah, I remember the first time I saw this panel, I was like, yes.
Yeah, yeah. He's ready to tear something up here. Yeah.
And then Wolverine says, this ain't your fight, Doc, but we could sure use your help. You seem to know your way around this place. Will you join us? And then I love Doctor Strange. My dear Wolverine, I wouldn't miss it for the world. I just love his reply, as if they're like super close friends. And as far as I know, this is the first time they've ever met. But he's already he's already dear to him.
That's great.
So good. So now they are on their journey and instantly being attacked by a three-headed dog. Yep. There is Cerberus, I think is how you pronounce the dog's name, right? The dog that guards the entrance to the underworld. And they've already got to kill this thing.
And this is the third level.
Yes. You got Colossus pulling and throwing it around, Wolverine cutting it up, and then like crazy walls of fire with giant sort of spears being thrown at us. There's a lot going on in these 2 pages.
Yeah, I like seeing that spear that just breaks off of Colossus there at the bottom. Right? Yeah.
Very cool.
Doing his thing.
So this is like the new normal now, right? Everything's like, everything's on fire. Everything smells like brimstone. They thought Nightcrawler's teleporting was bad, but now it's like this place, everything's like that.
Yeah.
Cerberus is in a lot of stories involving the underworld, including Inferno, right? Let's see here. Let's continue along here.
We're in the 4th level where Colossus gets hit in the chest with the spear.
Yes.
That was
and then they've got this door they cannot open, and they try to go over, but there's like a throng of demons on the other side. Nobody seems to be able to manage it. I love this bit though when Colossus just rips the door open. So cool.
That is really cool. I love how it zooms in close to his face there by the right.
I'll tell you, as much as I love that part, what really disappointed me about it was what Doctor Strange ends up saying about it. And I was like, damn, what a tease.
What did he say?
He said Colossus may have a pure, noble spirit, but he is still only human. And in the true hell, he should not have been able to smash these gates. So we know right away we're not really in hell, but yeah.
That was the other thing I kept questioning, because they kept dropping little hints as to like him just questioning. Yeah, Doctor Strange is like, is this like the other time? And that's where they reference like 16, Doctor Strange 16, where it's just like, is this the same thing? Because it doesn't quite feel the same. Exactly. So what's up? And the whole time you're just like, well, so if it's not that, where are we? So yeah, good point there though.
Thank you.
So he busts it open, and now we're in part 3, the Pit of Despair, or what looks like a giant asteroid pit,
pretty much,
but less throngs of demons and fiery burning things.
How would we pronounce that? Is that the Malbolge?
Sure, Malabolge.
Okay, because you know what I was thinking right away, right? Kind of like the Malbolgia.
Spawn? The mountain?
No.
Spawn? You say Spawn?
Yeah, remember the Malbolgia, the demon that Spawn is slave to in his books.
Ooh.
Oh, in his books.
I wonder if that came as a reference from Dante's Inferno as well.
Okay, you know what? Now that I'm seeing that name, I'm gonna guess yes, because it's completely similar, and it's Spawn.
I'm sure Gore Vidal is going to be able to tell us.
I'll be right back, guys.
Jeez, it's like he's on a show.
And also,
this was that'd be very interesting if that was a Spawn. If McFarlane pulled that from.
I mean, just looking at the name, it rings of Spawn. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. I'm gonna take a look and see if it might be. But either way, this is the 8th circle of hell. So it's below DIS. It says here.
Okay.
Yeah. No,
I like Colossus is saying, if believing in your God, Nightcrawler, means accepting the existence of this place, I am now glad I was raised an atheist.
Yeah, and then Nightcrawler comes right back and says, don't be so harsh to judge. Hell is balanced by heaven.
Which is over here, right?
He's always got like this enlightened answer that, you know, it's a prevailing religious thing with him. So he's real. I guess he's basically the heart and soul of the X-Men at times.
Well, and I think he's also a moral compass in a lot of ways.
Completely.
You know, I think that his faith grounds him in a way the others don't fully appreciate and recognize.
I mean, if he made a believer out of Wolverine, I mean,
right?
There are tough things to do in the Marvel universe. I guess that's what, top 5.
Yeah, defeating Galactus and helping Wolverine find his faith.
Top 2.
Oh, hilarious. So they find in this pit all of these sort of twisted, warped souls being eaten alive by giant pink worms, and they're having trouble finding Storm amidst all of this. But Wolverine decides, you know what, I got her sent. Even amidst all this, I'm gone. And he just runs. That tilted panel on the bottom there that's going sideways is him just sprinting across this layer of hell to find Storm.
It's great the way he picks up on the lead. Doctor Strange is explaining everything.
Yeah.
He literally tells him, tell us about this Malbolge, will you, Doc? Maybe that'll give us some kind of lead. And he says, here you'll find panders and seducers, flatterers, Simonist churchmen who use their holy office for personal gain, diviners, false prophets, frauds, con artists, hypocrites, thieves. Wolverine says, thieves? He goes, yes, in the 7th Bolgia is what Doctor Strange said. He says, that's it. That's got to be it. Colossus asks him, Wolverine, where are you going? Haven't you guys figured it out? When Aurora was a street urchin in Cairo before she developed her mutant powers, she was a beggar and a thief. So he knew he was in the right spot after hearing all that.
Exactly.
So nice little clue.
Thanks, Gore, for the update. He's like, he does not think he remembers that demon or anything coming from Inferno. So, yeah, Wolverine is exactly Scooby-Doo of the team. Exactly what he is. His Scooby snacks are cigars and beer. They find Storm, or at least a demon and monster thing, wearing her costume and kind of try to pull her from the pit. But Wolverine is already off somewhere else. He's left them all behind.
He's locked on the scent.
So Doctor Strange has to use the bands of Cyttorak to wrap up this demon Storm and try to speak to her or try to communicate in some way.
And the communication goes a little crazy. I guess he's figured out that it's not Storm. Right. And then Colossus gets a little bit emotional and, starts interrogating the demon that's in Storm's garb.
Yeah.
So,
and this is when Wolverine comes back and he's got a new baby. He's got a new buddy. He's got this purple or pink looking worm, and he's like, I found Storm. And I'm just like, wait, what? So the thing in the Storm's costume that is a beast looking thing, not Storm. The worm is Storm? Buckwild.
Nice big worm too.
Right. So he's just like strolling up. He's all happy about it. And he's like, yeah, that's her. And then Doctor Strange is basically saying, you're sure that's her? And he's like, yeah, I'm sure. And he's like, okay. So he uses the essence of Storm and the husk of her and rejoins these two pieces to save Storm and throws out the demon that was in her.
Yeah, and Wolverine says it scents right, feels right. I'll guarantee it. So, man, guarantees. In my line of work, we can't say that word.
Right. See, J Hood says, Wikipedia just taught me that Malebolgia is the ruler of the 8th level of hell where frauds are doomed.
So then that's got to be the Spawn reference somehow, even if it's the name. Is it spelled the same?
It looks like a slight different spelling, but very similar.
Yeah. I guess it's derived from that name regardless.
Yeah, right.
They talked about that in the YouTube thing where it was like each level had its own like ruler, I guess, as they mentioned there. Yeah.
Absolutely. So any thoughts here, Justin, on the demon Storm and the fact that her body was in a giant pink worm that Wolverine sniffed out?
Yeah, I thought that was I don't know how to think about it. I just like how he shows up walking here. He's like, by the way, here she is. Like,
and there's his foot sticking out of the panel, and he's just strolling up all chill.
Everyone else is freaking out, looking at this body of Storm and being terrified. He's just like, all right, there she is, guys. Yeah, very random and interesting.
It's hell, guys. It's hell.
Yeah.
It's friendship.
We don't know what to expect.
Right.
All right. So then they've got to find their way out to get through the bottom of the abyss. And they're cutting their way through. They can't break their way through. They see Nightcrawler frozen in the ice beneath them. And of course, Colossus coming through in the clutch again and just cracks the ice and pulls him free.
Nothing says friendship like a friend that'll break through the gates of hell, smash through an icy surface, and try and save you every time.
It's a good friend.
That's a good friend.
Mm-hmm.
Absolutely.
Yeah, and again, my second time around after understanding more about Dante's Inferno, like a lot of this made a lot more sense, knowing that the descriptions of that was all ice. I mean, it was all frozen. Everything when you get to the center or get down to seeing Satan, and Satan was described as what we're looking at here too. So that was also very accurate.
That
the
three-headed, deformed demon thing.
Yep.
Yeah.
So it all made sense.
Yeah, it is. I like the way it's sectioned correctly in terms of what you've read. And I mean, they do a good job of going level to level, if you ask me. At least we get an explanation every time they approach a new level. So I like the elaboration on that.
And this is when Strange is basically done. And he's like, I'm tired of the illusion. This might be some kind of monster, but it is not Satan. Let me see what you really are. And then poof, we are back to the Margari.
Yep.
Yeah.
She's pretty hot.
And then he gets into like the sorceress breakdance fight with her, where they're like light show and dancing, very Dazzler-esque. I don't know. We're missing Dazzler in this issue.
Yeah, we are. That we are. Yeah, this. I love the breakdancing fighting. I'm waiting for. Now I wish there was some breakdance fighting.
I'm saying that's what I was hearing music all through this sequence.
You know, this book is old when there's an advertisement for O.J. Simpson.
What?
Yeah, let me blow that up. Here.
What did it say? Hold that up again, Chet. What did that say? Show. It's like sneaker. Oh, show them
your heels. There it is. The
Nice.
juice says. Yes, I did. We got Air Spider in the chat. What is going on, my man? What is Jay Nunya? What are you doing, man? Good to see you. So this is kind of the big exposition bit where the monster says, "Yeah, I'm not Satan, but I really like his vibe, and I kind of recreated this in his image, and I earned this soul because, spoiler alert, your pious Nightcrawler killed somebody, and that means his soul is mine now. He is a murderer." And then they're like, "Okay, well, let's get to the bottom of this. Use the Eye of Agamotto, and we'll figure out what really happened."
Before they get to that, though, Colossus is at it again. He murdered no one. She gets the message: "You try my patience, armored one. Stand aside."
Right.
I was like, "Oh, what can she do to Colossus?" But we never get that far.
We
But
don't want to find out.
I was like, "Ooh, she's." You know, she stood up to Doctor Strange. In his head, the whole way, he's saying, "This woman's power is as powerful as mine." And when she does what she does next, I was like, "Okay, this is great. I love this part."
This is when we get all that backstory. She takes over control of the Eye of Agamotto to transport us back to days of yore when Nightcrawler was a young and happy pirate. Swashbuckling with friends and fighting with people and apparently killing somebody, but really to stop them, just keep them from all of the horrible deeds they were doing.
Yeah. So this was the other thing I was like kind of questioning is that this is where another issue is that this demon lady wanting to basically take Nightcrawler's soul for what he had done, basically killing Nightcrawler all over a miscommunication of which I feel like just could have been solved if she was open to communicating with Nightcrawler and saying, "Well, let's talk this out. Like, why, why did you kill him? Why did you, instead of just like just gonna assume that happened. And so I'm going to kill you. Like, I don't know. I just, I think some therapy between the two of them would have really gone a long way. And they probably wouldn't even had to go through all this hell and all this other stuff. So
it's a classic Marvel trope, right? We're fighting, but really we've got a Three's Company problem here. We could probably just talk through.
It's like Firelord.
I was going to say, I think what you guys need to catch up on is how Margali ended up with Nightcrawler in the first place.
So yeah, there's some fun like interconnections going on here because Margali has a daughter. Is that basically where we're at here? Yeah. And she, spoiler, has gone out on 3 dates with Nightcrawler that we have seen in this run, early on.
That gets explained too.
Back in issue 98, I believe.
Yep.
Chett had said some comment. I don't know if you were on the show or in the chat. He basically said, "Keep your eye on her. She's coming back." I did. And then, we get around to Arcade and Slang. He's like, "See, she came back." And we were all like, "Oh, yeah, they did go on 2 dates." And he's like, in his head, Chett was saying, No,
something's coming.
Something's not done. Here she is again. Third time's the charm. Yep. Proof that dating a mutant, not all it's chalked up to be.
Well, she really did to keep an eye on him.
All of this has been her efforts to kind of keep her mom from banishing her boyfriend for a crime he did commit, but was worth it.
Yep.
Justified.
Justified, yes.
That's the Three's Company overarching plot that we've got hidden within Dante's Inferno here.
Yeah.
And at the end, she takes off her I Dream of Jeannie costume, comes back into her date night outfit, and hugging commences.
Wasn't that even one of the questions too of like asking what was her name from like the previous issue?
I
It was
think
like
we
one of
did
our
ask
questions.
her name.
Yeah.
And Chett was like, how do you people? And Chett was actually on the show when we asked that question. He was very upset because he's like, I know this name.
Yeah, yeah. So I wonder if does CGC mention anything of that on their
No.
label when you
I actually
no,
asked Chett. He would be able to check the label for this issue, but I don't remember them saying that this is the 5th appearance of Amanda Sefton.
No.
and they don't say anything about her.
Doctor Strange
I don't
appearance.
think on issue 98
On
they don't
98,
say it
no.
either.
Okay,
I don't think they say first appearance of Amanda Sefton on that.
I don't think so either.
it's a sleeper
Underrated.
key.
See,
Sleeper key. Just saying.
yeah, sleeper.
She's actually been around quite a bit. I know she's been recent somewhere.
Okay,
Just don't
another
remember
David
where.
Nightcrawler, no doubt.
Jonathan Hickman tying her in.
I don't remember, man. It's irking me now. So now I'm gonna have to do some digging.
Let me know if you pull it up.
Yeah, I will.
So,
I'll send you whatever I find.
After achieving the ends of solving the demon's frustration, Mom lets her go and lets daughter continue to date Nightcrawler. She's okay with it now, and that's
She even gives him
kind
a
of
kiss.
that's kind of the end. Everybody's all happy, and then they're like, "Hey, Kitty Pryde, you should totally join the X-Men." And she's like, "Do I really want to do this now? I just watched you guys get taken to the underworld by giant tentacles."
Yeah, but you didn't see any of it. You were here with the professor eating chips.
Yeah.
Do I have to?
Drinking water.
What's up, Michael? How you doing, man?
Yo. So the thing that I'm baffled by is that nothing has ever been mentioned again, like in the following issue that I can recall. Anyways, maybe I'm wrong. That I remember. I don't remember them at all, like saying like, "Hey, remember that time we thought Nightcrawler was dead, but really he was just in a fake hell, and we all went and found him, and what good times, you know?" Like,
And now he's got a girl to go out with.
yeah.
It was all just
And your
good
girlfriend was really someone you knew for a long time. Like,
Oh
whoa.
my God.
stuff. Yeah. I mean, yeah, those are things that you'd think would come up again.
Right.
Good drunk stories.
I will also say one of my least favorite art page panels is the one right above Kristen Bell there, where it's like the white blue background. It feels very much like the end of a sitcom when they're all like, and then the freeze frames and the
Yeah, I was saying that to myself earlier. Like that's a little bit too happy and joyous for me. And
I was thinking G.I. Joe.
You can just see like created by the logo comes right across the center of them. They're like, "Hey, you should join the X-Men." Yeah, awkward. But there you go. And key book. No, I'm kidding.
possibly.
We're harshing on it a little bit, but that is the end. And then I wanted to include this, and I don't know if you guys spent any time reading the notes at the back of the book. So it says, this is Claremont saying, "Whoo, you folks don't kid around. We received so many impassioned epistles about the fate of the Phoenix story in X-Men 137, more letters than any issue of X-Men ever, but who's counting, that we just had to include the extra page of letters here in the annual to handle the overflow. You can read on." And my favorite one was, "Mr. Claremont, you stink murderer."
I did not see that. That's great.
If you read this digitally,
That is
you can
hilarious.
enjoy
John, here's your page.
amazing. Like, look how many letters. Look how many letters are there.
Yeah.
And it's
It
the
is
very first
packed.
letter.
These are the original Karens writing their letters in to complain about the death of the Phoenix Saga.
Wow. You got the guy's name and everything. Yeah.
Just to prove to you that trolls have always existed and always been wrong, those are the people saying back then that the death of the Phoenix Saga was a huge misstep and that Claremont had screwed up and that it was a horrible piece of writing. What
Wow.
we now regard as the greatest X-Men stories getting crapped on by the public. More, they said again, more letters, more angry, frustrated letters than they'd ever gotten on any issue of X-Men ever.
Yeah.
What is up, art chemist? I just wanted to share that because it just, for me, it you know, anytime you're feeling that like, God, people are crapping all over this Tom King book or whatever, like sometimes there's a little historical perspective needed, right?
A little bit.
Yep.
And so this definitely reminded me of that. And I like the little girl from Modern Family.
Yeah, Modern Family.
Give me that. I
I
can't.
can't read.
So there you go.
Nice.
Yeah, it's well worth the time if you're reading it digitally. So let's get on to some facts here. The math of this issue. It's the first appearance of Margali Svardos and Stefan
Zardos.
Svardos. And
I'd say Zardos.
and the Wand of Power. Also, like we mentioned, it's a throwback to issues 98 and 110 when Amanda dated Kurt twice and decided it was still worth it to keep me sticking around. So yeah, if you're looking for those other issues with Amanda Sefton, the date, you can see the first date they went out on was in issue 98. The second date was in 110 with the slang. And then the following issue 111, you got to see her held by Arcade.
Yeah, I just think of like that whole thing with when she's captured by Arcade. Like she really went through a lot of stuff. Meanwhile, she had this other agenda this entire time, and she's just like going with the flow the entire time.
It was a 40 issue long con.
Yeah,
111 was not. Arcade had nothing to do with 111, my friend. Stop that.
Well, was 111 it was the
123 is Arcade.
That was
Yeah,
the circus
Okay.
with Banshee as the ringleader.
Banshee. Yeah, there you go.
Everybody keeps doing that thing. I'm going to send you something later where years ago somebody said, "Oh, 111, one of my favorite books, and Arcade is such a great villain." And I wrote at the bottom, "That's not Arcade."
That's not Arcade.
And I never got a response.
Yeah.
Crickets. Yeah.
Nobody likes to be wrong, but I'll suck it up. I'll survive. So here's some statistical information on this issue. Not a whole lot of slabs. There are 37 9/8s and 61 9/6s.
That makes life tough.
The fair market value is $220 in a 9/8. However, the 90-day is in the 400 range. So clearly, this is a book that's gone way up. If you looked at the 2019 average, then yeah, it's about early $200 range. But now $420. So it's gone up by almost double in the last couple of years in the 90.
Wow.
Yeah. So definitely on the rise. However, the 9/6 goes for 80. So if you want to try that great old fashioned, get a 9/6, press clean, send back, get a 9/8, you are basically 5 times multiplier making your money back.
It's pretty good. It's pretty good.
Right there.
I could see this issue being popular by non-comic book fans that are just into Dante's Inferno too.
Yeah,
so, right.
You know,
I think they should do something more with the whole mystical Margali and all that, and make it a key. Why not?
Yeah.
Or big fans of Nightcrawler. This is a huge origin issue with a ton of backstory for him, which he up to this point, 40 issues in, really hasn't had a ton of. So I could see Nightcrawler fans also being way in on this.
Yeah. Yeah, it should be credited as origin. I think it should be
absolutely. Yeah,
to some degree. It definitely parts.
That's the benefit of reading your books, right? So that is it. There, we can stop sharing this. It was a king size issue. We are already an hour in, but hey,
a lot of content.
You did pretty good. You did pretty good.
We did all right.
Yeah.
So we are. Any last thoughts, gentlemen? And we're at that end of the discussion here. Any last thoughts on this issue?
I mean, I definitely have more of an appreciation for it than I initially did, and I could see myself growing to continue to like it more. And maybe if I read Dante's Inferno one day, then I even enjoy this book even more. So I think there's definitely room for that. Yeah, there's definitely room. There's definitely room to appreciate this book even more, I think, for me.
I might have to take a cue from Justin and actually read Dante's Inferno. I like this book a lot, and being real, I think this was the last really good Bronze Age annual that I got to read in terms of X-Men, because the next one goes back to Archon, and then they do Dracula, and then they start veering. The Dracula book isn't too bad. The annual. Yeah. But the next one where they do Archon and the Fantastic Four, I felt that was kind of corny.
I don't think I've read that one before.
Yeah, Annual 5. Yeah, you'll
see. I come from that era where it was like annuals were just garbage. You didn't care about them. You didn't read them. And as a collector, I was always like, "Oh, it's an annual. You don't need that. Those are not important."
Whenever I saw an annual,
those are dirty. Put them down.
The book was like yay thick, and I was like, "Oh!" And it's 75 cents. Like, I get it. It's 500 pages.
Yeah, right.
It's like that first appearance of Gambit forever was like, No, it's 266. Like he is legitimately in that book. Like he's legitimately that. Like people are like, no, but it's an annual though, dude. That doesn't count. That's bull. It's 266. He's right there on the cover. I don't know how to argue that point. Like he is legitimately in it. Talks. He's got a name.
The cameo. So it's like the whole Hulk 180.
It's still the first time.
It's worse because he is all through that. He's in there a ton, and he's talking, and he says his name, and the whole thing. It's like, what is happening? But it's an annual, so I'm from that era where it's like, yeah, but 266 is the book. Like, that's an annual. Those are that's packing material. Why are you even talking about that book? Packing material. So it's fun to be able to read these now first time and feel like, yeah, there's value continuity wise, story wise, even if I'm not like, oh, this is not the key or whatever. Like there's some fun to be had in exploring some of these books that I missed out on.
Absolutely.
Yeah. I mean, I think 3 is still like one of my favorites, like out of everything. Like, I really enjoy that book.
Gotta agree. I love 3.
Yep.
I think this was a nice follow-up in terms of annuals. Sure. But then as far as annuals go after this, it's kind of hit or miss for a long time, if you ask me.
And that's because we're ending the era when they were kind of like still some of the same creative talent on those, and entering the era when it was like, hey, we haven't tried this guy out as a writer or an artist. Let's just throw them on an annual, see what they can do. And it's like
working for me.
No continuity and in the art style, in the story writing, in the anything. And it's just like test driving writers and artists. And usually they would never be heard from again. So
test driving a Volkswagen.
80s annuals. He's a big fan.
I hope you guys don't drive a Volkswagen, right?
No, not anymore.
Nope.
Not that you said that. So we are into the trivia portion of the show. We got 4 questions we're going to ask you in the chat about last week's issue 139 and the discussion we had surrounding it. Was it 8?
38.
Damn it. Yeah. I said it and I was like, crap. I haven't been drinking. 138.
This is bad.
The final issue of Cyclops until he comes back in like 10 or so episodes. So we're going to ask these questions. The first 2 correct answers get raffle ticket entries, and then the funniest answer gets a raffle ticket entry. And Chett's going to help us pick the one that makes us laugh the most.
Okay, cool.
We got 4 questions here. I'm going to kick it off first. We're always looking for funny answers. So even if you haven't read the issue, you can definitely give us something that you think is entertaining as an answer here. My question is, what was the name of the titled issue that we read last time? I don't need to know X-Men 138. What did the interior title of the issue, what was it called?
This could set up for some good comedy.
I'm going to say JP's going to take some shots at Cyclops. I can almost predict, but anyway, I figure that's going to happen on every question all the way.
Totally.
2 correct answers in the first 2 things. We got Magic Lasso, as always, dropping fire. We got Jason from Claiming Comics. Where are you at, Jason? I got you on it. I got you. There you are. Boom. 2 correct answers back to back. And while we're waiting for some comedy to drift through the comments there, Justin, why don't you hit us with your first question?
Sure. My first question is going to be, who tries to talk Scott out of leaving last issue? At the end, I should say. At the end of last issue, who was there to try to talk Scott into staying with the group?
I got Old Wolf saying it's called Not Elegy. That's what your mom said last night.
I'm kind of feeling that answer a little bit.
There you go. All right, so that's the one Chett's picking. 62 Lefty Blues just got his 3rd raffle ticket.
Nice.
No. Oh, so he's saying, was it Nightcrawler?
Yes. Yeah. So Old Wolf's correct for my question.
Lasso and Old
Tony.
Wolf. Do I have you in here? Old Tony, do I have you in here yet? Old Wolf just got his first raffle ticket.
Oh man, nice,
there
Tony.
You go, brother.
All right.
You
all takes is one
to win it.
That's right.
And we're not gonna. You're not Chett, so we're not gonna mark you down for putting a space between the words. We're not gonna worry about that. But if it was Chett, it would not
be. Yeah, not at all. No.
It would be disqualified and dismissed out of hand. So any comedy answers? Bobby Delgado is here. What is going on, Bobby?
So I can't space and sell and all that because I missed that day of school.
62 Lefty Blues mom tried to keep Cyclops around. Did it work? That's the real question. I mean, he was missing some strange. That's what the reality was. Diana herself, Diana Ross.
Can never go wrong with that.
Was in the name.
Yeah.
I'm going to break up the X-Men because it's right there. If that's the funny answer, we're taking it.
There it is. There it is. Done and done.
Locked
I'm on to question 3. This era of comic books, especially Marvel, famous for having covers with grotesque, in some people's opinions, banners across the top. My question is, which company sponsored the banner on issue 138? What company's logo is across the top there on issue 138?
Classic stuff there. Classic.
Yeah.
Spacely Sprockets.
JP asked Cyclops to say. I mean, was it? Was it really? J Hood Creative joining Magic Lasso with the correct answer.
Good.
Do I have you on here yet, Jamie? Yeah, you do. I got you here. I got you on the list, brother. Albert. So close.
So close.
What's up, Big Al?
Okay, so while we're waiting for any comedy answers for who might have sponsored this issue, last issue of X-Men, drop us a funny comment.
There's got to be something good.
We got one other question for you from Justin.
All right, my last question here is, there was a moment shared last issue, as we know there were several moments that were shared last issue, but this one particularly mentioned the story where Professor X is being kidnapped by a group of deadly villains. What was the name of that group? The group of deadly villains. It included, I think, Mole Man, Juggernaut, a few others. But they had a team name, an evil team name. What was that? What was that group?
Yes.
Yeah.
Was it the Omni X-Men show? Did we sponsor that issue of X-Men? Was it DC Comics? Did Detective Comics comic sponsor that? It's just that's your weekly reminder that DC Comics is DC Detective Comics comics.
Yep.
Just something to think about. Subway sandwiches?
Eat fresh.
Was it Win This Bike? Buy my bikes. All right.
Win This Bike.
Was it Win This Bike? Oh, that was the one that got the biggest laugh from Chett. So there you go. Lefty with another point. He's cracking up the Chett Eye. That's all that matters. All right, which answer do you like the most? Oh my goodness, there's a bunch of funny answers going on here. Do you have 2 correct answers yet, Justin?
No, only one. I do see one. I
saw only one
as well. Yeah.
Okay.
So it's up there.
I see another one that is like not enough, right?
No, okay. Just one.
Just the one. One correct. You can try copying and pasting. Pick one that you like and just copy and paste it.
I would literally just there we go. All right.
Easier than we know, right?
I see the second. Huh?
Look at it closely, the second one.
No, that's not John, that's not it.
Oh, I see it now. Okay, right. This one?
Yeah.
There it is. And
so that's that was the second
he
one.
used the number though. We're disqualifying.
All right. So it actually is the digit 3. It's technically.
But we got Old Wolf.
We'll give Old
Magic Lasso back again.
Yeah.
There are some hilarious answers here. So
we've got. Isn't that number 37?
The Insignificant 7.
The Insignificant.
We've got the Backstreet Boys. Was it the Backstreet Boys? Of course, we've got the Supremes. So good that 2 people used it.
Jason
this one, 62 Lefty Blues is on fire. The Brotherhood of Evil Movements. Not mutants. That was not mutants.
I'm digging that one, man.
I like that too.
And lastly, the Golden Girls. The Golden Girls. So we're gonna go with Lefty Blues, who is slaying the comedy. 3 comedy points tonight, Lefty.
Got some good ones, man.
Oh,
yeah,
dropping the hammer down. So
Bobby says the Little Rascals.
Annual number 4. Next week, we're on Justin's channel, so make sure you've clicked the link and subscribed and hit the notification bell so you're over there when we are live next Tuesday discussing issue 139. Yes. So now you get the odd issues. I'm the even issues again.
Yep, switching back.
All right. Chett Eye, huge thank you for joining us, man. Chett,
Yeah,
He
man.
is just a boss. We didn't hear from you. What's the grade and the signatures on this book?
Oh, I spoke to you earlier. Shanghai,
X-Nay on the
in my mind, I have a 9.8 signed by
in your mind.
Chris.
Okay.
In reality,
what-
I only have 2 raw copies, and they don't have a slab or a signature.
It's going to be hard to get a Stanley signature on that book now.
I saw it a while ago, but based on everything else I bought at that time, I wasn't about to knock that one in there with.
Well, you said it was a lower grade too. It's a 9.0, right?
The one that I saw recently was
Lower.
a 9, but there were several. I saw one on Heritage. I think sold for like 1,600 just because it had the signatures and the retired Stan gold label.
Right.
And then I saw another one on eBay a while back that was a 9.6 that I'll get it Friday. And when I went back, it was gone. So I'm not buying a 9.0 of this book. It's just too low for such a newer book, you know?
Yeah.
So I'll hold out.
I get it. Totally get
It
it.
will be yours. One day it will be yours.
That's right.
All right. Thank you, everybody, for coming by. You know,
Yes.
Justin, he's going to be dropping a ton of great content. In fact, he just dropped a reveal of all the books he got for a really low amount at his shop that he invaded the other day. So
It's good stuff.
definitely worth cruising through to see what he picked up. Was it $35? Was that it?
35 bucks. Yeah. Little expo nearby. This can be.
So definitely check out the channel. And of course, every weekend, you know, he's going to be interviewing another great member from the comic community. So be ready for more of that.
This Saturday, I'm actually off. We're taking a little vacation, but next Saturday.
That's what I'm
I'll be
saying.
back.
You can use this coming Saturday to catch up on all the ones he's
Yes.
dropped recently.
I think, Justin, I'd like to do one of those with you soon.
We got a lot. Yeah, we got to
That'd
talk.
be fun. It would really be fun.
I want to have you
There you
on
go.
for sure.
Great call. I want to watch that.
Yeah, man.
Thank you.
All right. I'll be backstage. Everybody have a great night, and we'll see you back next week on Justin's
Still
channel.
backstage. Later, guys. Peace.